All right. I'm not sure what this is going to be called or, day in the life of a window tint business owner, whatever. Don't know, but whatever it is, this is going to be episode 1. Got my setup. I'm going to have a lot of learning to do. Hopefully my mic is connected. Looks like it is. Got you hanging from my windshield on a Osmo Pocket 3. Now, this is looks like the gimbal is going to help me out a little bit. Now, I don't know how much it's going to help me or hurt me. Could get me out of frame, stuff like that. I didn't want to focus it on my face because then you guys are getting a whole lot of backseat action, and I don't know. Figure that stuff out. And sometimes, for sure, I don't want to be sharing what's in my backseat. Not that it's anything like weird or, out of this world. Just dirty. Just messy more than dirty. Now, right now, I am currently headed to my shop. It's about a 20-minute drive. Figured it's a perfect opportunity to kind of start to document this stuff. A lot of times I find myself in places or kind of just more so places mentally where I think about things a certain way. I'm thinking about where I'll be going, what I want to do, stuff like that, where I end up completely forgetting or just not really along for the ride as I'm so focused on, where I'm going. And hopefully this will help me. Best case, I'm able to make something with this, make some YouTube videos, help some other people, answer some questions, share what works for me. I'm never going to be telling you guys what you should or shouldn't do, just sharing what I do and what has worked and hasn't worked for me. Again, and even saying when it does work or doesn't work, not saying as, frankly, this does or does not work, just that this did or didn't work for me. Of course, there's plenty of different variables. Now, worst case, I get to see and document my progress, or whatever the opposite of progress would be if that's the case. But hopefully it ends up something better. I'm able to make something of this in 1 or 2 years down the road. I can look back and my life is hopefully different because of it. Now, right now, head to the shop. Like I said, it's about a 20-minute drive. Right now, I'm currently headed to do a front windshield scheduled at 1. It's currently 12:21, so I've got about 40 minutes. I always like to arrive to the shop 20 minutes before whatever appointment it might be. Now, today I didn't have anything scheduled. It was a bit of a late start, which I tend to do, but I definitely try not to. I'm trying to get better at that, which I have gotten way better at it. But ideally by this point, I had eaten breakfast, done some cardio, whatever, and then I kind of get on to responding to leads and then follow-ups, because for me, what I personally like to do at the moment is whenever a lead comes in, if you can, reach out to them as soon as possible. That's likely when they're most available. At least that's what I, like to tell myself. If now follow-ups, I tend to follow up unless specifically told otherwise. It's just when I'm more free in the day, and it tends to be whenever they pick up most of the day, after 3 p.m. or just kind of as it gets later in the afternoon, not evening. I'm sure that would work too, but that's not when I do it. And that's when I do my follow-ups. If they specifically instruct me, of course I ask, is it now a good time? If it's not a good time, what is? And then put in my notes, whatever. So that's typically what I like to do. Today, didn't have anything scheduled. It's a late start. And right now, I'm headed to do that windshield. Don't have a deposit for this appointment. I do require deposits. What I have found that has worked for me is if it's an appointment that takes less than 3 hours, I require a $50 deposit. If it's an appointment that takes more than 3 hours, I take a $100 deposit. Initially, when I first started, I didn't take any deposits, and no-shows weren't all that common. They really weren't. But they did happen, and I figured, why take the risk if I don't need to? $50 isn't much to somebody where, they're really raising their eyebrows, questioning why they're whatever. Most people, you get into it, they don't care that you take a deposit. I would say all of my clients, except for a very very small percentage. And it weeds out those price shoppers. Somebody might book an appointment with you and then still go on to make 3 or 4 more calls to see if they can get a better price, but still lock in that appointment. So if that doesn't work out, they still have an appointment. Now, if they pay a deposit, they're probably done shopping, unless they're okay with losing that money. So when it's like this, I was going to go to the shop anyway to start this, break this in, set up this equipment, see, start to make adjustments. So I need an excuse to go anyway. I was just going to go and clean up a little bit, grab my towels, come back, wash them, make some calls while I'm there, whatever it might be, follow up with some leads. But this guy wanted to get in. He said today was the best day or Saturday was the best day. Currently, Saturday is open, but I just had a client reach out to me this morning. He had reached out. I had been following up with him. He had let me know he was receiving delivery of a Model Y. I think it was 3 days ago. He said he would reach out when he was ready. Of course, I follow up to make sure he's warm, still thinking of us. So I reach out, see, because initially he just wanted to schedule, and I said, well, since you're not exactly sure when delivery is going to happen, I don't want you to lose your money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I was like, if you're comfortable, we can, for sure, it's up to you. But if not, we can either book an appointment later on and then move it forward if possible. That's the safest. Or you can reach out when it is delivered and then book. Not as safe, because then you don't have a guaranteed appointment and you don't have the option to move it up. Then you have to just see what's available at that time. Or the least safe option would be to book it and say, F it, I'll just see if it's available, or I'll just see if the delivery goes as planned. So he called me or texted me saying, got delivery, Saturday's the best day. So I didn't want to book this windshield, because that's what I'm doing right now, this windshield on Saturday, because Saturdays I prefer not to be in the shop all day. I'm perfectly fine with being there for a good for a good portion of the day. But this Tesla, he's wanting all the side windows, the rear glass, the full front windshield, and I think even potentially a brow. So for me personally, by myself, that's a bit of an extensive job, probably 6 or 7 hours. Realistically, it's less. I'm usually closer to 5 or 6 now, but I always give myself that 6 to 7. So, I wouldn't necessarily 100% agree with this statement, but low expectations, key to happiness. It definitely helps keep you calmer if you expect to not finish it as quicker and you do finish quicker, and vice versa for the client. If you tell them 6 to 7 and it's done in 5, then I'm sure they're pretty happy about it, for the most part. I don't think that's such a short time that they're worried you sped through it and didn't care about their stuff. But it's just enough to where it kind of, wow, it's quicker than I expected, but not fishy about it, I suppose. So I prefer to say screw it, tell this guy, hey, I can do it today if you can be there by 1. Like I said, I was going to go there anyway, so I didn't bother to take a deposit. It makes things easier for the both of us, especially if I'm going to head down there anyway. So I said, yeah, let's just plan on that. Right now, I headed there. The Tesla client actually just reached back out to me, asked him if he wanted to lock in Saturday. He just said, let me double check with my wife and then I'll lock it in. So hopefully he does. If not, I'll have to reach back out to him and hopefully get him in, because he's actually wanting, I didn't even mention this, but he wants the full thing ceramic, which is always great. just off the top of my head, we're probably looking at like a $700-800 ticket. So pretty good, for me anyways. And he did not mind the price at all. So he was just waiting on delivery. So hopefully I get a deposit for him, get him locked in Saturday. I got a couple scheduled this week. So I definitely have a lot of work to do because I need a lot more. This past weekend, I didn't really keep up with leads as much as I should have. So right now I think I have 12 leads to just do my initial, outbound or my initial reach out, just to even give them their quotes. And then I still have probably 120 follow-ups that I could potentially do. Really, it's just all the people that have reached out to me for a quote that I put into like a big group, so that I know I was able to get a hold of these people. These people didn't go with somebody. Just people that, as far as I know, have not booked with me and have not booked with somebody else, and they are able to be reached. If I reach out to somebody 3-5 times, they don't answer, they're off the list. It's just like, obviously the most recent ones are the ones that I want to keep warm. They're the people that I've been talking to for like the past couple of weeks. In my notes I'll put whatever, they're interested in end of January, these are interested in February, these are looking at summer, whatever. And if they're in my notes, if I'm telling myself I got to reach back out to them, then when I do go through that list and kind of filter through those little notes that I write for myself, look at which one I think is most likely to answer and also probably likely to book, then I reach out to those first. But if it comes a point like if any of you guys are window tinters or any other business that slows down in the winter for that matter, it's definitely not bad to have 100+ people to reach back out to, because these aren't just contacts. These are people that reached out to me semi-recently, like within the last 3 months, that I have been in contact with, at least to some extent. And then I'm reaching back out to them, seeing if they've got done, whatever. It's definitely not bad to have 100 people to be able to reach back out to that are semi-recent, semi-warm, not just absolutely cold, have no idea who you are. Yeah, if you've got nothing on the schedule, I bet if you make those 100 calls, even if you're not a very good salesman like myself, you're probably looking at about 10 bookings. I don't know. Oh, I'm right behind this kind of like semi deal, who's apparently moving pallets of roofing shingles. That's going about 20 miles an hour too slow. Anyway, so now 10 to 12 calls really isn't that much. The problem is when they answer, it's actually a lot of time. I was like, obviously you get through the people that don't answer, like that, you just double dial real quick. They don't answer, put in your notes whatever you double dialed. Anyway, but the people that answer, if they're even remotely interested, even the people that aren't that interested and just kind of like wanting a quote and stuff, and I could possibly be making this more efficient, but as far as I understand, and in my experience, initially I can get a general idea if they're even remotely interested, if they're at all lightly gonna buy. The ones that aren't, it's pretty obvious, like they're just whatever. It's just pretty obvious. If they're not like that, then I legitimately start to dig into what they're interested in getting and how I can help them. And then ideally, if they're the client that prioritizes quality over quantity, in terms of like price, or quality over the price, then they care for that, and hopefully that sways them my way. There's definitely more to sales that I could get into that I am not good enough to and don't necessarily like it enough to, and that's bad. I definitely should do more. 100% focus on sales more, but I'm not doing bad without it. I'm actually doing okay without it, and I think that's part of the problem. If I needed to, if I could do it consistently, actually, like, follow a sales script and stuff like that, and really kind of just not give up on people their first objection, I would definitely be much further. But at the same time, I have had weeks like that, or months, where I was super consistent and I really just didn't let people off the hook. Not to say I'm pushy by any means, but I'm just genuinely trying to get through all the options I could possibly do to help them, or overcome whatever issues they're having that's not allowing them to book. Then yeah, that month just wasn't sustainable for me. And so right now, I am trying to find a place, a system that is going to be sustainable, that I can continue to do, because I am by myself and have been by myself basically for the last 4 years. And if I actually want to grow and get past this point, I need to kind of rebuild a little bit of a foundation that I had once built, and took some risks, whatever. And by foundation, I mean money, a chunk of money that I had built, and again took some risks, and it's all gone. And it's not embarrassing or bad by any means. This guy just like swerved completely into one lane and back the other, like as if, I don't know. Yeah, it's just what happens, especially if you try to improve. I learned a lot. I don't think I'll be making mistakes as big as I have made in the past, which is great. The faster you learn them, the faster you can improve. So right now, just trying to find something sustainable, build that foundation back up, use what I learned, and just do it better next time. So that's kind of what I'll be doing, and hopefully documenting most of this, and it'll either be cool for me to look back on, or it'll be helpful for a lot of people and maybe grow into something. Now, there was a different thing I wanted to mention before I cut this. So anyway, I'll just kind of run through the plan. Plan is, obviously tint this guy's windshield if he shows up. And afterwards, that still gives me some time. So afterwards, I'll of course reach out to the new leads first, and if I have any time after that, then I'll go through with the follow-ups. And hopefully get some people scheduled this week. I really only need anywhere from 3 to 5 more jobs this week for it to be, again, decent. Not good, not great, but okay. So that's what I'll be doing, and then after that, I'll be heading home to eat, because I also like to. Right now, I'm locked into working out. I again had a late morning, had a late start, so I didn't eat breakfast, which I typically don't. But I had 2 rice cakes. You guys know what those are. They were chocolate, so 60 calories a piece. That's 120, and then chugged the water so I can be a little more hydrated and actually kind of feel like there was something in my stomach. But I'm arriving, and so before I cut this, I'll kind of just go over my current situation so I know where I'm starting out at. So currently, look, you guys might be able to see the shop. Yeah. Currently, as I sit, the current situation is I own a window tint shop, and most of my business has been organic, meaning, just like, I don't even know if social media would be considered organic, but for the most part, SEO, search engine optimization. The first thing that I focused on was definitely my website. Once I got my website done, I would say I consistently was able to bring in somewhere in the neighborhood. I mean, this is a while back. Probably around 6 to 8 thousand. Probably an average of seven. That's honestly what I imagine. $7,000 organic. Um, and that's once I was at this commercial shop. Previously to the shop, I was renting some guy's shop in his backyard. It was a detailer's business. That property that they use to like store their mobile vans, and so they didn't use it much. So I figured, why not, ask to see if I can rent it. They can make some extra money on this shop that they don't really use much. At that place, I probably topped out around $5,000 a month. Once I did SEO and got to this location, started selling some more premium films like ceramic and stuff like that, and probably got to around like an average of 7,000. Now mixed with like a little bit of like word of mouth. That's probably just for my website. Mixed with a little bit of like word of mouth, like posting on Instagram, not even consistently, but just here and there. I probably was closer to the neighborhood of like 9 to 10,000. And in like peak months, probably closer to like 12, maybe higher, but right around $12,000 a month. Now, so at this point, in the last 12 months, I have probably had months as low as 6,000. And previous to that, last year, not last year 25, 26, this is 26, but maybe even January 25 actually. I probably had a month as low as like 4 or 5,000, which is extremely, extremely low. Paying the bills type of low. And I don't know that I should be sharing all this, but I figure, nobody's going to see these, especially the first couple. And if this does end up being problematic, then of course, I can, whatever. I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. But the worst case, if this part isn't even uploaded, I have it for myself. Now, I've had months as low as 4 or 5,000, like recently, as in the last 12 months. And then I've had months as high as like 15,000. So that's a big difference, definitely not one that I would say is okay by any means, because that just tells me how inconsistent I am. Of course, you have high and low months, but actually, I had my best week and even one of my best months of the year in November. Now, I'm not sure about everywhere else. I'm sure everywhere else does kind of have a weird winter, but right now, it is. I mean, I'm getting hot in this car. It is. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull the weather up out. I mean, it's a warm winter is what I'm trying to say. It's 53 degrees. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty warm for winter. But despite that, I was able to run a little bit of ads, like actually be consistent with follow-ups and reaching out to leads and actually kind of like work hard. And I was, and I had one of my best months of the entire year in winter. Now, of course, that's not organic, that's ads and whatnot. But even without it, I would say it was still a great month, not considering the ad revenue, the money I got from the ads. I still probably had one of my best months just only looking at the organic, because I was following up with everybody, not just the leads from the ads. So just because I was being consistent and reaching out to everybody as soon as possible, and then following up with those people and actually following a script and not just letting people get off the phone, I was able to do much better. So, I mean, it's the proof. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I've done the work. I've showed that it works out much better, and I've also not done the work and shown and proved to myself that it won't just come. Of course, to some extent it will, but I'm trying to figure out a smooth baseline right now to where I'm not riding a high. I'm not trying to dig myself out of a low. I'm just consistent, and if I can get that consistent and that becomes my new baseline of low, then I can add a little bit more, and then that's my new baseline of low. And then if you guys get the picture that I'm trying to paint, so first I'm just trying to lock in some consistency, and because those numbers are definitely absolutely decent for not having a loan, just building this off of cash flow. It's definitely very healthy. Window tint has really good margins. So for one person, I know some people are like beasts where they can install 4 to 5 cars a day by themselves every day. I'm not there by any means, but and so those guys are like killing it, making tons of money on their own. But I'm definitely doing way better than I thought I ever would. I mean, I didn't go to college. I just graduated high school and started this, and it has been keeping me alive, holding me afloat. So not happy with it, but or satisfied, but I'm definitely grateful, and and now I've gotta continue, probably at a slower pace than I intended, if I'm gonna be able to be able to sustain the activity that I'm doing. Now, current situation, that's kind of what revenue looks like. Some examples, but I had to buy an AC unit last year, late last year, that cost me $10,500. So paying that off, I've got maybe 7 months left of that. Um, so that's a large chunk of money just kind of gone. And then I've had some tax situations and whatnot, as you do when you're learning. Um, and so nothing massive, nothing insane, but that is also, I would say, between all debts that are short term. I like the AC is like 7 months left. My tax might be like 6 or 5 months, and then like my longest one, which happens to be my cheapest one. And by the way, all are interest free, so I'm not just like bleeding money. Um, my longest one that is the cheapest and still interest free, it might have like 12 or 13 months left, but it's like, I don't know, like $200. Maybe. No, I think it's like 140. Anyway, between everything combined, I'm probably looking at in the neighborhood of like $2,000 being being not in my pocket at the end of the month. And I would say after about those 7 months for the AC, then I'm just rounding to looking at about an extra or $1,000 going back into my pocket that was going into the AC, and then well, actually, I guess after the AC's done, the tax ones will also be done. So I mean, really, I'll be soon, relatively soon, when all that stuff is paid in that 6 7 months. I'll be looking at 1,500 1,700 back into my pocket, which is great. That's, well, I guess I shouldn't say. Well, I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I pay for rent this place about $1,600, just around. So, yeah, it'd be nice to not pay double rent and that go back into my pocket a little bit, so that I can hold on to it and start building that cushion back up. And then whenever the other one's gone, then I don't know. So that's the current situation. Hopefully, about 6 to 8 months from now, all that stuff is now stacking, and then I'm able to actually begin the growth. Right now, I would say I'm in a rebuild to get back to a baseline, and then once I get to that baseline, then it's kind of build a cushion, and after that cushion, then it's time to be a little more aggressive. So again, not telling you what to do, not telling you what you should do, sharing what I'm doing and what does and doesn't work for me. So it's 12:47. If he is gonna come, he's supposed to be here in about 13 minutes. So I'm gonna go in there, set up whatnot, and I'll keep you guys updated. All right. So just wrapped up with the windshield. They did show up. Ended up taking off a brow for them and installing a full windshield tint. Stuck with a standard tint. And then I caught up on all the leads. Didn't get to do much follow-up because I am starving and I still got to stop to get gas. Didn't mention it on my Yap sesh on the way to the shop, but I am on empty. The light has been on for my last 2 drives. Luckily, this is a 4-cylinder Honda Accord, so we can get pretty far when it's on empty. So that's the first thing we're going to do is go get some gas. Anyway, knocked out that windshield. It took me a little bit less than 2 hours. Came out good. And then made my calls. So with those leads, I would say out of the 12, maybe 4 or 5 picked up. And I would say all of them were just pretty much looking to get a price and then get off the phone as soon as possible, besides one that was really red. Besides one that was basically ready to get on the schedule, but she's in the military, and so she's going to be traveling until next week. But pretty much she was scheduling, and I was like, well, if you're not really certain, why don't we hold off so you don't lose your deposit? Because I would technically, like, I can schedule her, I can keep that money if, and it's no whatever off my back, whatever the saying is. But I would just, rather do like the nicer thing and hold off. If she does book with me later, then great. If not, then I'm not gonna feel bad about taking her money. So yeah, out of the 12, like 4 picked up, and only 1 was like close to booking. Could I have done better? Probably, but that's kind of how it is. Now the good news is the Tesla client that I mentioned earlier. They said they're all good. They checked for Saturday and they said they're good to go. So I sent them a deposit payment link, waiting on that to come through. Once that comes through, I'll get them booked. If that doesn't come through here, before the next like hour or so, I'll give them a call, let them know I'm closing up to see if they want to get that locked in before I close up. So not bad. Decent day. Started late, still came in and made around $200, and potentially got booked in somebody else for whatever it is, another 700 or 800, and caught up on leads. So not bad. Still gotta post on social media, but that's pretty much it. I got most of the the talking that I needed to do. I covered most of the things I needed to on the drive here, so hopefully from now on it'll just kind of be like interesting, whatever tips and tricks, what I'm going through, what I'm about to do, what I'm I don't know. Now this is kind of going to be not different. I don't think I'm going to be that different, but it's definitely not going to be like the thumbnail clickbaity what's the word, optimizing for views type of content, like Mr. Beast style. I would say I'm just gonna pretty much document. That's number one. It's document for me. If it helps other people, great. And so essentially there is no niche, or I'm the niche, or niche, however you pronounce it. I feel like I hear more niche than niche, but I still don't know how to pronounce it correctly. So yeah, I would say I'm gonna be it. You're gonna hear hopefully mostly about window tinting, just because that's my business. So business / window tint, and whatever else kind of falls in those categories. But also I'm just not gonna, I wouldn't say it's gonna be a main thing, but I'm definitely also gonna maybe throw in here or there like about my lifts, any progress I'm making, stuff like that. So yeah, I just kind of going based off of what I said earlier and trying to find something that's sustainable. I would end up getting in like just basically a routine that was essentially no routine at all. And if I had time to work out, I would. But I'm kind of like an all or nothing kind of guy, which is also wrong. Probably shouldn't do that. Just a workout's better than no workout, even if it's a bad workout, even if you're not going every day. And so yeah, pretty much I either count macros, go to the gym every consistently, or I don't do either, which is pretty bad. I mean, you either get the best of the best or the worst of the worst in terms of outcomes. And of course, I prioritized work in my business first, so anytime I got busy there, it was just like, oh, throw it out the window, didn't, like, not even a second thought. But then you end up a slow week comes around and you don't have much money coming in, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, man, don't look so good either. Like, and so you're not feeling so good. So I figure, if I just do okay in business, continue to like keep it my focus for sure, but really just prioritize it being consistent, sustainable growth while giving myself the opportunity and the time to do what I actually enjoy, like working out, so that I can feel good about myself. Or even if I have a super slow day, like with window tinting or at the shop, that I don't feel bad. It was still productive. If I still counted my macros, got my cardio done, went and had a good workout. It's like all of those are really good things to really. All of those are things that are, you can feel really good about. They're. I mean, for me, they're very easy because I enjoy doing them. So it's kind of that whole like, what's it called? What's that word people like to use? I lose words all the time. I know a lot of them, but I lose a lot of them. Um, man, it's gone. It's not like accountability. It's not. Discipline. Discipline is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I don't think it takes much discipline to do those things because I enjoy doing them. And so people always talk about that. It's like it doesn't take discipline to go and play video games every day if you enjoy doing it. So, yeah. But they're all good things to feel good about, positives, growth, if, that's your goal, of course. So, yeah, just trying to ride a steady uphill train instead of a just absolute erratic roller coaster, if that makes sense. I mean, think about it, like lifting and counting macros, locked in, cardio, $15,000 months, and then $5,000 months, no cardio, no working out, not counting. It's just like, let's just be somewhere in the middle. So that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, I'm gonna pump some gas, then I'm gonna get home and probably eat some stuff. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna pump some gas so that I can go home, and I got some dishes to do. But once I do those, I'm thinking some potatoes, probably chicken and broccoli. A lot of potatoes. Really love potatoes. Can eat endless amounts of potatoes. Dang, check that out, guys. So they just left a deposit. We got the Tesla locked in for whatever, the $700 or $800. So good news. Overall, good day. $200 from that tint after waking up early, and then still got another 700 or 800 on the schedule and caught up on leads. Plus, like I said, I'm gonna go have a really good meal, kill some awesome roasted potatoes, and then have a really good workout. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for. I mean, that I'm not an Alex Hormozy, although I'd love to be. Huge inspiration. Not waking up at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m., whatever it is. Not killing it. But whatever is a minor version of killing it, I would like to do that a little bit every day. And then I think I'm okay. And eventually, maybe, if I continue to raise my baseline, then I will be killing it. But all right, I'll see you guys later. All right, guys, we are gonna try our best to make this work in the dark. On the little screen for the camera, makes it seem like it can see me all right. So I don't love this light being on, but we'll see. We'll see. So right now we are headed to the gym. It's currently 9:40. This is how I finish my days, except typically I am ideally headed to the gym closer to 8:40, probably 8:50, because it's like a 6-minute drive. Get there, and hopefully start the workout around 9. But today I actually did not end up taking care of those dishes and did not cook my little chicken and potatoes. My mom called me up. If you guys are Mexican, I don't know what other. Yeah, I don't know who else eats tinga, but yeah, she made some tinga. So I had a couple tostadas, heavy with the chicken. Kind of hard to go light with the tostada. It either is there or it isn't. But I didn't put, if you guys know what queso fresco or what sour cream is, I didn't put those on the first three. Put on the last one. I did eat quite a bit. I ate 4 of them, which, I mean, I don't know exactly when it comes to stuff like this, which I rarely do. I normally just always eat at home. I just kind of have to, obviously guesstimate best I can, and I assume roughly I had 6 ounces of chicken. And of course, I counted the tostadas. And there's not really like a barcode to scan for the Mexican sour cream or for the or for the queso fresco. So, but yeah, my calories were so low. I think I ate probably at 6:30, and the only thing I had ate prior to that was going to be those 2 rice cakes, which was a total of 120 calories, and I drink of water. So yeah, essentially, not literally, but in terms of feeling wise and in terms of macros, I was borderline fasted. I hadn't ate till like 6:30. So and my calories are at 2450. So I had a wide. Um, I have a lot of space. I have a lot of space to fill up before I even go under, or before I even hit it much, much less go over. So I think after that, I was maybe sitting at like 1400. I like grubbed on a banana, and my brother had like a spare cooked chicken breast there that I also killed to try and kind of get a little bit ahead on protein. So I probably ended up eating closer to literally like 12 ounces of chicken. So probably like 100 grams of protein. Realistically, I mean, I'm no scientist. I don't know about all this stuff, but generally you kind of hear things, pick up a thing or two. And I don't think my body is going to do as well. I don't think my body is going to be as efficient using those 100 grams in a sitting as it would have if I distributed them in a more if I just distributed them throughout the day. Like, I'm still gonna try and obviously get my protein in, but I think my body's gonna have a much better time if I would have had 2 meals instead of 1. And I also think my lift would be much better if my body actually had some time to break down the energy that I had gave it, as opposed to just eating all this and then going to the gym with my body being fasted for the majority of the day. But main goal, just try and get as close as we can to our calories, make sure we hit our protein, and then hit a workout, a good workout ideally. So yeah, I ended up chit-chatting way longer than I was supposed to there. So now we're heading to the gym late. Usually back workouts don't take me too long, but let's see, where should I park? I don't know about your guys' gym. My gym has seen a small increase in in people since New Year's, but I also come again at 8 and 9, so it's not necessarily like a really busy time. But that's the plan. I'm gonna do some back. Most likely it's gonna just pretty much consist of just some, probably start with some pull downs, some row variation, maybe another variation of pull downs, and maybe another variation of rows. I'm not a big back guy, but I don't think it's overall that complicated. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll probably take you guys in there. just so I can do a pose. I won't record any of the lifts. I would not say I'm that confident yet or even that big. I feel you got to earn certain things in the gym. Personally, I don't think like it's a rule everybody should follow, obviously, but I feel like I got to earn walking around in a wife beater after I take my pump cover off. I got to get a certain size, I got to earn it. And the same thing with filming. I'm okay with documenting my pump afterwards, like in the bathroom and whatnot, but the workout itself, it's pretty simple. I don't think you guys gotta. I gotta take you guys along, and I don't even think I'd want to go back and watch myself work out. I just want to see my pump afterwards. So I'm gonna go get this pump, presumably about 30 to 45 minutes. I'll be seeing you guys again in the bathroom, no homo, and seeing what my back looks like. All right, I'll see you guys then. All right, guys. It's probably really echoey in here. I hope the audio is decent. I'm gonna try and hurry up before my camera falls off. That would be the end of this journey pretty quick. And let's get some of this exposure down. Actually, I'm gonna restart this in 4K. Alright. Here's it from the front. Definitely nothing crazy. Still nothing crazy. See, right now, I look like a tube. I need this to come out more. That right there. And then I'll get a V shape at least. Instead of looking like a box. So, alright guys, regular skinny little gym dude with a little softer in the midsection, but hopefully we'll be making some solid improvements. Don't know if I'll include this, but we'll see. Tip back is my least impressive muscle group. It's also the one that I struggle the most to feel whenever I'm working out. I can't really like squeeze it really well. I don't get a very good pump. Even when I was going to the gym nonstop for 2 years, it definitely grew, but I just never got that mind muscle connection that I do with like other muscles. You know, obviously like my chest. Like I can flex the bottom, mid, to the top of my chest. Obviously like biceps, or even like the outside of my tricep back here, able to flex that. So, but my back, I always struggled. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the car and we'll finish off today's video. Alright guys, we were headed home, got a quick little 5 to 6 minute drive with you guys, and then it's done. So yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, like, I am by no means any sort of crazy in any which way. When I was younger, I was like definitely like super lean, like crazy lean. Like I probably had like an 8-pack. You could see like the Christmas tree clear as day, and like my lower back. Like even when I was like 12, I had abs when I was like 8. You know, but there's a lot of kids like me, you know, that are outside a lot. That, you know, were generally just really lean. And as a teenager, I was a hard gainer. I couldn't gain any weight. And then I remember like my first time getting into 140s, I started to go from looking like I just really skinny, and that's why I looked muscular, to like actually looking like I had a little bit of muscle going on. And I remember I broke 150 and I broke 160, and that's when I started to kind of look a pretty good size for you know, my height and stuff like that, and for my age. Biggest I've ever gotten is like 170, 175. And I was honestly fairly lean, probably just around as lean as I am now, maybe a touch less lean. But yeah, I mean, for sure, for a fact, 19-year-old me, 20-year-old, I'm 23, 20-year-old me would like mog me. Like, they just look, I used to look much better. So nothing crazy, but we're getting back on track. Just got a little bit of weight in my midsection. The rest of me, like, is honestly decently lean. Like, you know, I can see some striations in my chest. My shoulders are very striated. I think even like my mid back is decent, and it's just like my lower midsection, my hips, and then, you know, my stomach is where I hold most of my weight, it seems like. So once that goes away, though, I think I'll be at a place where I think I can comfortably start going back up. And so that's exciting, but it's also like discouraging if any of you guys are super familiar with like the gym and been going a while. I mean, there's kind of two sides. There's, you know, the people that make a little bit of progress, and it's great, you know, they're super excited about it, they're super happy to show it off, stuff like that. And then there's like, I'm on the opposite end, where I can make all kinds of progress and I think I look like absolute shit, and then a year passes by, after I fell off or something, and I look back wishing I was looking like that again. So I mean, it's just always the same crap. But yeah, nothing crazy going on with my back. Not like, no crazy pumps. I don't like feel it like crazy, and also, you know, I am in a slight deficit right now, so I'm definitely not gonna feel or look the best. On top of that, I just started, you know. But yeah, enjoy the lift, enjoy making slow progress, and and hopefully after a while we can look back at this and be pretty happy of how far we've come. So yeah, tomorrow is gonna be arms. Arms is more fun, but I don't necessarily feel like arms is more fun, yeah. So I know there's different levels for sure. Like, there's people that would kill to be as lean as I am, or even like people that are really skinny that would kill to have like the little muscle that I do have. But or even like bigger guys might want like the definition. I don't know, but there's just always people that would like want to jump in other people's shoes. So I always try and tell myself that, like, and it's even myself looking back on myself wishing I was a certain way, or looking back when I was bigger wishing I was bigger, and then looking back when I was leaner wishing I was leaner. So it's just like, you're always gonna want something else for the most part, and just kind of like be happy where I'm at, and know that I'll be improving. That's kind of the main thing that I try to concern myself with. Of course, I'm not real good at it. But I don't know. I haven't looked back at the footage yet. Maybe it's better than I thought. So yeah. Anyway, that is going to end today's whatever this is. and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow.